Hello and welcome to Base Plate Reviews. Apologies that I've been away for a little while. Nothing major, just life taking over Lego as it should be. I will get to that in another update though. But today I wanted to look at actually some of the sets that have been revealed today, May 1st. I know that it is Star Wars Day or the beginning of the Star Wars Day sales. Obviously, Star Wars Day is May 4th, but Lego starts releasing stuff for the members at least on May 1st. And there's some interesting stuff with Star Wars. I'm not personally that interested in it, although there's one set there that I think is pretty good. But there's some other sets which link back to the past, link back to just the start of this year, that have been released in other things I think are really interesting. So, starting off, actually, let's just take a look at that Star Wars set which has been revealed that I do think is interesting, and that is the K2SO security droid. So, we first saw this back in the Rogue One film, I believe, and this looks a really, really nice build. So, in the same vein as that C3PO and R2D2 build that we've seen previously. But as you can see, it looks like we've got the minifig of it just here. The minifigs on the box are Andor and a Stormtrooper. I don't think that those are coming with the set though. Just the actual main build and then a mini builder minifig of K2SO. That's pretty nice though. Yeah, we can see that in the lifestyle picture here with the plaque. I think that this looks absolutely spot on. Fantastic stuff. And price wise, $90 for 845 pieces. Bearing in mind that we do tend to get a premium on Star Wars stuff, I actually think this is pretty reasonably priced, especially if you can find it with a discount at some point later in the year. But separate to that, what I'm really interested in is actually we're getting a remake of Monster Fighter's Haunted House. That is the only thing that we can say about this Creator 3-in-1 set. It is an absolute remake of the Haunted House. I will post a picture up just here so you can see. And you can see it really is just a miniaturized version of that with the gates down here at the bottom, with the pillars at the front, the colors, everything, even the characters that we've got. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. We're going to get a great glow in the dark ghost just here. $90, 736 pieces. This is a Creator 3-in-1 set. So that does mean that if we click on the pictures, we should be able to see what else we can make. And I think appropriately, a ghost ship and a ghost train make a lot of sense. We can see the back of the house here. Obviously, with that reduced piece count, it is not going to have the same levels of detail as the original Monster Fighters set, but still really good stuff. And I think you can see close up here, these minifigs just look great. That ghost is going to be spot on. We can see the glow in the dark being shown really well on the box here. And yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very desirable set when it releases in August. Obviously, that's a couple of months before Halloween. Hopefully, it's not going to be too difficult to get hold of. Creative Ethereum one, they normally have plenty on the shelves, and at $90 US, I think this one's going to be a real smash hit. Other than that, on the Creative Ethereum one front, we did have the Castle retire at the end of 2024, and this is the new one. Now, I think what's going to really interest people here is you're actually getting 4 minifigs, all with the kind of Horse Knight faction, new faction, I believe, here in the set. You're also getting one other minifig and then this kind of snake faction one just here. So, really good stuff. I mean, just with one set of these, you've already got 4 minifigs. So, you're already into army building territory just with that. But certainly, if you bought a couple of these, when we look at the kind of other pictures, we can see that this can be built as a kind of twin tower type thing with the jousting tournament. I think that's really effective. And then there's also this kind of opened up kind of courtyard scene with the windmill. I think the bit that will frustrate people is these are brick built horses. That's what we tend to get with Creator 3-in-1. We don't tend to get actual kind of animal molds or anything, which is a bit of a pity because I think that some proper horses with some proper armor, the kind of chainmail covering that you can put over them would have been a lot nicer. But at $130 for 1,371 pieces, you're getting all these minifigs, nice crown piece, etc. There, I think again this is going to be super popular. I actually think this is better than the previous castle, in my opinion. If we take a look at that one, I know that was a little cheaper, had more pieces, but I just don't think it was quite as good as the one that we're getting. Uh, some of those pieces were obviously used. If we take a look at the pictures, to make the dragon, which is okay, but let's be honest again, we'd rather have the molded piece. And yeah, the minifig selection there, obviously nowhere near as appealing as this one with just the three minifigs. Also, the side builds weren't great. Like I say, I think that although this is more expensive, we are in 2025, of course, and there are things which are putting pressure on prices. I think that this looks really great, and I think that there's going to be a lot of people buying a couple of these to kind of build up their own castles and also really start an army with that kind of horse faction. Separate to that, as I previously mentioned, we've got some sets which have been announced which hark back to a set that was released earlier this year, which was Spiderverse Miles Morales versus the Spot. So this set, I think we can see in the pictures just here, had those kind of studs at the top, suggesting that this would be able to combine with other sets. But of course, there were no other sets released in this theme which it would connect up to. But now we have seen a couple new sets announced. So we've got Spider-Man versus Oscorp. Unfortunately, with Lego.com and their ongoing kind of tech issues with their website, we've just got the single picture. Fortunately, I have actually got some pictures of this from Reddit, and this shows this a little bit better. It's got the box art, lots of minifigs. So we've got 8 minifigs there, including Spider Woman. I believe that's based on the Julia Carpenter version of Spider Woman. That's the character that effectively Sydney Sweeney was playing in Madam Web. We've also got a Craven the Hunter one here, Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, Eddie Brock, and I think we can see just down here with Venom kind of coming out of his shoulder there. So that's pretty cool. Now, this one does look interesting, pretty flat. So that ties back to the previous set we were just looking at. They are pretty small, kind of like, I think it's 8 studs wide, 6 studs, something like that. Uh, so it's really a facade. This isn't matching up to modulars or anything, but we can see we can stack it different ways. And yeah, overall, with all those minifigs, not bad. Price wise, not great. 808 pieces, 140 US dollars. So definitely pretty pricey. But we've also got one other set which is releasing in basically exactly the same theme, which is Peter Parker's apartment. Now, this is the one that was rumored to be coming along with the previous one that we looked at, so the Spider-Verse set, and you can see very much put so that this can join on with that either on the top or at the side. We've got the pegs just there, but really interesting in terms of the minifigure selection here. So we've got Anti-Venom, but Hobgoblin and Mary Jane, some really nice minifigs there. And if we look at the pictures, we can see Hobgoblin. Haven't had him in an awful long time. So the 410, that is Peter Parker's apartment number. I think it's Chelsea Street or something like that. Some nice stickers just here with the Menace, the Daily Bugle kind of headline just there. And again, we can see it seems to be able to be blown apart, taken apart to show damage, etc. Not bad, not bad at all. And it should be really interesting to see how this can all be put together with both the Spider-Verse set and also the Spider-Man versus Oscorp set. So again, the one kind of bad piece of news for the Peter Parker apartment set is that it's $55. The previous Spider-Verse one was $50. So was expecting that to be basically the same price. And I think it actually is, if you look at Canada, I think it's $65 for both of these. One of those things. It will be interesting, certainly, to pick up at least this set and put it together with that Spider-Verse set, the Spider-Man versus Oscorp set. Again, interesting. Just that price is brutal, 140 US dollars for 808 pieces. I think maybe if you're interested in the minifigs, probably better off picking those up by themselves. Although, might be interesting to see what actual kind of unique parts this comes with. Just a bit of a pity that price is quite so high. Certainly, it doesn't match up to the kind of value if we look at the Daily Bugle, which is still available. 25 minifigures, $350, but 3,789 pieces, and clearly a really impressive set. So that's still on shelves. If you want to start forking out these kinds of prices, maybe just go for the Daily Bugle instead. It's not one that I want in my city personally, just because it doesn't quite fit with the aesthetics. Uh, but yeah, one of those things. Certainly, the prices on these Spider-Man sets, or Spider-Man sets, aren't quite what they should be, really. Now, as I'm already talking about the other Spider Man sets, it would be remiss of me not just to mention that we've also got this surprise one that's come in. So, based on Spider Man 2, the film from back in 2004, so 21 years old, we've got this Spider Man versus Doc Ock subway train scene, classic scene in the film. Getting four minifigs there, including Aunt May and J. Jonah Jameson, plus Doc Ock and Spider Man, the Tobey Maguire version, just there. 55 US dollars, 393 pieces. It does look really good. Also looks like it should fit on some rails. So maybe you could buy a couple of these and have yourself a subway train uh, with more than just the one car, one carriage. Uh, yeah, looks pretty cool. I believe that if you look at the actual front of the box, which again, Lego.com doesn't have, it actually does have that Spider Man 2 kind of film. Scene on there. So that's just really interesting to be getting that. Separate to this, just a couple of things that I was interested in. One is that we saw the Burger restaurant announced for Lego Fortnite. The reason I'm interested in this is because, of course, we've had lots and lots of rumors about there going to be a Krusty Burger, so the Simpsons theme coming back, and even some supposed leaks of minifigs, etc. Now, if that is coming out this year, we're getting a Der Burger restaurant and also a Krusty Burger restaurant. So, is that maybe suggesting that maybe people have got wires crossed a little bit and maybe we're not getting a Krusty Burger? It would be odd to be getting two burger restaurants in the same year. We also had the Burger Van going back a year or so ago with Lego City. Uh, this looks perfectly okay. I'm just more kind of interested in the fact that we've had lots of rumors about Krusty Burger, and maybe actually this was what they were talking about. Finally, I just wanted to say I was actually really surprised that we didn't see a reveal of the new train that's coming out. So we've seen some leaked pics of a train which is under the Arctic Explorers range of city, so the sub theme. The reason for that is because effectively the freight train here is retired. It says just sold out here in the North American stores, but if we go onto the websites for the European ones, it does actually say it's retired. The reason it's retired over there for certain is because actually they've still got the cargo train on shelves. And actually, when we were in Europe, we did see this physically on shelves when we went into a toy store, I believe in the Netherlands. So this is the cargo train, absolutely phenomenal set. I really do believe it's one of the top sets, certainly top city sets of recent times, and better than the freight train which came after it. So was a bit surprised that we didn't see that reveal. Bearing in mind that all we've got in terms of trains at the moment, actually city trains, is just that one green passenger train. So that's the reveal that I'm really looking forward to, and potentially even another cargo train of sorts, unless that one is filling that range, which looks like it may well be, uh, which would then mean we'd be looking at a passenger train at some point. So, yeah, this is kind of what I was hoping to see, but we didn't. Hopefully, that's been nice little look over what's coming out. Certainly, that Haunted Mansion remake of Monster Fighter's Haunted House is just absolutely glorious. It's obviously much smaller, but I'm sure there's going to be people who buy two or three of these and build up, a really great looking set. Also, just with your own parts and stuff, there's been sand green kind of masonry bricks available plenty of times on the pick brick walls. I know. So, going to be interesting to see what some people do with that in terms of kind of rebrickable sets, etc. Is there anything that you've seen that's been released or is about to be released that you're really looking forward to? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. And with that, I'll leave you and say, as always, be good.